Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Iran's government says at least 8 people were killed as the U.S. carried out a 6th straight day of attacks. Targets included a railway station, 6 bridges, and other civilian infrastructure. Iran's energy ministry is calling on citizens to reduce their electricity use after Iran's energy grid came under attack despite sweltering summer heat with temperatures well into triple digits. In another bombing, the U.S. struck near a children's cancer hospital in the southwestern city of Avaz. The attack sparked the panicked evacuation of more than 200 people, including young patients undergoing chemotherapy. In response, Iran claimed a 13th wave of retaliatory strikes against U.S. bases. Missile and drone attacks were reported in Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Syria, and Qatar, where officials say a child was injured by falling missile debris. Here in the United States, dense smoke from Canadian wildfires brought air quality alerts to people in more than 20 states in the Northeast and Upper Midwest Thursday, with more smoke in the forecast this weekend. The air quality index in Toledo, Ohio, climbed to over 600. That compares to a good air quality score of 50 or less. In Detroit, Michigan, it topped 720, more than double what's needed to trigger a hazardous air alert. Here in New York, Mayor Zohran Mamdani spoke as readings topped 250, a level he said poses a health risk for everyone, regardless of their health status.
250, 300.
Whether we're speaking about the heat, whether we're speaking about the air quality, or whether we're even speaking about the levels of rainwater and flooding in our city, I am concerned. And I'm concerned because what we see is that the climate crisis exacerbates so much of what our city is facing.
Meanwhile, in Texas, at least 2 people died as dangerous flooding swept through the central part of the state, the same area where more than 130 people, including 25 children at a Christian girls' summer camp, died in flash floods last summer. President Trump used a primetime address Thursday to accuse China of interfering in the 2020 election, despite a U.S. intelligence assessment finding no evidence to support his claim. A Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson said Trump's accusations were, quote, totally fabricated and a malicious smear, unquote. President Trump also urged Republicans in Congress to pass the Save America Act, which requires IDs at the polls and proof of citizenship during voter registration.
Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference.
Federal investigators have found President Trump's longtime teleprompter operator, Gabriel Perez, made more than $100,000 by betting on Trump's speeches. He allegedly used the prediction market Kalshi to place the bets. The company alerted the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to Perez's suspicious activity on its mentions market, where users can bet on whether specific words or phrases are uttered during public remarks. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt was questioned Thursday about the scandal.
Obviously, I'm aware of the report. The president is too. I spoke with him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and, frankly, a disgrace.
This comes as President Trump's company, Truth Social, announced plans to charge for special high-speed access to Trump's social media posts, including statements on national security and financial topics. In response, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal wrote, quote, the president's social media posts covering war and peace and government regulations move markets. Truth Social's selling preferential access is yet another example of flagrant corruption, trading access to the White House for Trump's self-enrichment. Blumenthal said. Meanwhile, a senior Iranian official told DropSite News Iran had informed Vice President J.D. Vance that Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, were more interested in exploiting insider knowledge of the ceasefire negotiations to potentially profit than they were in reaching a deal. Iran provided DropSite written documentation of evidence that Kushner and Witkoff were using diplomatic developments to manipulate financial markets. The White House flatly denied the allegations. In Maine, the ICE agent who fatally shot Joan Sebastian Duran Guerrero during a traffic stop in Biddeford Monday has been identified as David Brulette, a former police officer and U.S. Army veteran. His ex-wife, Ashley, told the Portland Press-Herald he called her and admitted he was the officer behind Monday's shooting. Ashley Brulette described abusive behavior both during and after her marriage to David Brulette. She said she wanted to speak out publicly because she'd previously reported concerns about her husband's mental health to his superiors in the military. Separately, the Associated Press reports several of David Brulette's close relatives say he struggled with serious mental health issues since early childhood and never should have been given access to a badge and a gun. Speaking anonymously, one relative said, quote, Afghanistan destroyed him, trained him to be a killing monster, a machine. They took someone who was extremely mentally ill and turned him into a killing machine, the relative said.
Actually. Wow.
On Thursday, the widow of Joan Sebastian Duran Guerrero spoke publicly for the first time since her husband was killed as he set off for work Monday morning. Carolina Rojas Alvarez said the loss of her husband has been devastating for their 3-year-old daughter.
The day before, he took her to the park, and they had a wonderful time. That Monday afternoon was supposed to be her day with her dad. But he never came home. And now my daughter is asking about her father, and I don't have the strength to tell her that he's not coming, that she can't hug him anymore, or say, Daddy, I love you.
In Nevada, rights groups are demanding an investigation into the violent attempted arrest of an elderly man by plainclothes ICE agents at the Las Vegas International Airport. Video of Monday's incident shows 2 people in plainclothes, one masked, the other hooded, pushing a man to the floor and handcuffing him as he cries out for help. One of the agents then tries to swat away an observer's camera as he approaches.
My security guard, thank God.
What's going on? It's law enforcement. What's going on? We can still have the right to know what's going on. Everyone back up. Are you okay?
Responding to the video, Nevada Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen called for ICE to follow the same guardrails as other law enforcement agencies. She wrote, quote, plain clothes, no uniforms, no body cameras, no identification, unquote. The White House's so-called border czar, Tom Homan, has issued a warning to Democrats who are critical of ICE, its mass deportation campaign, or its violent encounters with the public. Shut your mouth or the quote-unquote bloodshed will continue. Homan issued the threat during an appearance Wednesday on Fox News.
He said
I said if the hateful rhetoric didn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And I'm saying it right now. There's still going to be more bloodshed unless they shut their mouth and let ICE enforce the laws that they enacted.
The Trump administration moved to tighten visa rules for foreign students, journalists, and cultural exchange visitors. Student and cultural exchange visas would be limited to 4 years. Visas for journalists, which previously lasted for years, would now last up to 240 days. In the case of Chinese nationals, journalist visas would last up to 90 days. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.
Add Q.
Democrats aren't hiding it anymore. Their hatred for Israel's out in the open after nearly half of House Democrats.
Shut up. Who used to be, I believe, at the Wall Street Journal and is now at the New York Times. And just notice her tone in this conversation because she's asked.
Excuse me? Thank you.
This is an interesting discussion on Morning Joe on MS Now. This is Mara Gray, who used to be, I believe, at the Wall Street Journal and is now at the New York Times. And her tone in this conversation, because she's at the right position that we all share about Israel's genocide in Gaza, but with the fact that she's at these, elite papers, you can tell how she has to moderate herself in rooms like this, because Zionism is an ideology that crosses religion but is disproportionately shared by members of our elite class. How she's just saying simple facts next to this man who is seething, Donnie Deutsch. I don't know much about him except he's a rich guy that is
he inherited his dad's advertising firm.
Well, he's a Zionist, and he gets super pissed off as she says things clearly here, explaining why people in this country are concerned about their taxpayer money going to Israel and how voters are responding to this as an issue in elections. So she does a great job here, but I feel badly for her because you can see how, while normal people are speaking about this in plain language, this is the kind of stuff that someone like her, and particularly as a woman of color, has to navigate in these media institutions, because he's so aggressive, as she's saying, just plain facts.
Yeah, responding to a Nepo baby.
Yep, exactly.
I was at the election night party for one of the DSA candidates in New York, Claire Valdez, and the first chant that crowd had when they won was actually "tax the rich," and so you know what? I hear you. I just when I go to Joe's point that this is about cost, I think one of the things that I see when I talk to voters that's happening is everyday voters are connecting the fact that they're.
I just want to get what he said, that when he says "I hope it is" here, what he's implying is that it's actually about anti-Semitism.
Yep.
Right.
I think one of the things
right. Yeah.
And he won't accept that it is. He will. There's no way he'll ever accept that it is just that.
Yep.
I talk to voters. That's happening is everyday voters are connecting the fact that their tax dollars are going to spend. They're spending millions of tax dollars, billions of dollars, on bombing civilians in a foreign country, and that's what makes Israel different for so many voters. It's what Joe said at the beginning of this conversation, that it's their tax dollars, so they feel that this is personal for them. That doesn't mean that anti-Semitism isn't also.
Let me ask you a question. If the bombing stopped and all of a sudden everything stopped, do you think this anti-Semitism would stop?
No, because anti-Semitism is the oldest hate that we have, and it is a scourge, and it is sadly always going to be there until we can find a way to be better humans. And I think it's a constant issue. That doesn't mean that Americans don't have a right to be enraged that their tax dollars are going to fund what many people, including myself, view as genocide.
It's not a genocide. A genocide, let's get this straight.
What?
God, there are as many Gazans alive today as when this war started. It is not a genocide.
Pause it.
It's just not.
Okay. So also, I misspoke, and it's Mara Gay. It's not Mara Gray. Don't worry. That would be a Holocaust. What he's talking about, that is not the definition of genocide. The definition of genocide has legal consequences, and it has benchmarks, which Israel has far exceeded. We don't need to get into the definition. I could rattle off the 5 planks of what constitutes a genocide, and you only need one under the UN definition to constitute a genocide. Israel has crossed the threshold for all 5. We know this to be the truth. B'Tselem, Israeli human rights group, says it's a genocide. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, any credible organization says it's a genocide. But the fact that he's now moved the goalpost to essentially saying it can only be a genocide if they exterminate the entire population gives you a sense of the depravity of a Zionist like this.
I would just like to revise one of her answers there under the aggressive asking by Deutsch, again, a guy who inherited his dad's advertising firm. That's why anyone knows who he is. When he says, if all of this ended, what do you mean? The occupation of Palestine? Like, what
Right.
he means,
That's
would
my
all this
first
end?
thought, yeah.
Like, what do you mean would all this end? Because I'll tell you what, if Israel wasn't occupying Palestine and hadn't been, and the Nakba never happened, and the massive displacement of Palestinians leading to a refugee crisis that we still deal with to this day, if all that was remedied, yes, anti-Semitism would be significantly less than it is right now.
Yes.
It's the number one driver. Israel is the number one driver of anti-Semitism in our modern context now. That's
True.
That's not only in America, that's even in the Middle East. Because the thing that's unspoken when they talk about, look at all these Jews that had to flee these other countries after Israel formed. Yeah, after Israel was formed. Because this nationalism, this idea of
After
Zionism
Israel was
has
formed.
fucked
He's
the
correct.
world up.
And attributing Israel's actions to Jews more broadly has driven anti-Semitism. When you repeatedly call yourself the Jewish state and then commit atrocities, then you wonder why certain people who don't have a sufficient political education say Jews are responsible for X, Y, and Z. Like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So Israel has to change course to reduce anti-Semitic sentiment, but he's refusing to acknowledge that is the path that things have to go down.
He's a boomer.
And what that means is when this all ends, you do have to ask the question: what does it mean in terms of ending for him?
Yeah. Right.
Because
the expulsion of Palestinians fully, or what he talks about, which is essentially the extermination of Palestinians. Which I don't know if he'd say this in polite society, but he seems to think that's preferable to Israel becoming not fully Jewish in character and including Palestinians as full human, people with civil and political rights.
No, he just means exactly what it was like before October 7th or something. That's what he's talking about.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. We can't go back to that reality. I mean, obviously.
But even prior to October 7th, there wasn't all this goes away. That we weren't in a scenario where there wasn't things happening or had happened or ongoing were happening, like
indeed genocide.
Yeah.
Right.
Thousands alive today is when this war started. It is not a genocide. It's just not. We can disagree on it. We'll agree to disagree on it.
We're going to agree to disagree on it. But I can tell you that the uprising in the Democratic Party is about an anger that the Democratic establishment is weak and has failed to stop Trump and has failed to make the everyday lives of Americans better. And if you look at the actual policies that are supported by many of the folks that people here would consider far left, and also just progressives in general. And I'm not talking about the most extreme policies like prison abolition, which is not universal on the left or anything, but I'm talking about the heart of that agenda is actually increasingly popular with the American public.
It's income inequality.
Income inequality. It's Medicare for all. It's disentangling politics from corporate interests, by the way, which is a huge factor for a lot of people in both parties, not just Democrats. And it's spending more money for Americans here and stopping campaigns abroad, not only in Israel, but people are also very angry over Iran. So it's not only Israel.
I have not heard the poor people of Iran, the people who've gotten decimated and killed. I don't hear the same level of fury and passion.
I also have to say that
Sorry, maybe you aren't listening. People bring up people are very upset about the Iran war. What the fuck is he talking about?
I don't know. But also, we haven't been waging a war in Iran like we have been waging this genocide in Gaza for 2.5+ years at this point.
There's still quite a lot of outrage about, like, say, the Menab Girls' School being bombed on day one. Like, I mean, maybe, that's a good question for Morning Joe, because Donnie Deutsch was kicked off of this network because he went at Keith Olbermann like 14 years ago, saying we need more purple voices, and some of these guys are playing too much anger. Why the fuck is he back? Why do these people get invited to these studios? He is an advertiser.
Yeah.
Why? I never got why he's on Morning Joe all the time. Why?
And we got the Shark Tank legend from Canada, that dumbass that's in that movie, Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, Mara Gay's an actual reporter,
Exactly.
and he's lecturing to her in this like extremely entitled manner. Even Joe Scarborough interjects and is like, "What are you talking?" I mean, he's both trying to bolster her point about how it's about income and wealth inequality. Normal people get it. People who are ideological Zionist zealots are delusional. They're deluded, and they're not connected to reality.
Right, that's the thing. That's the perfect, way to describe this. You have on one end someone who's using the lived experience of not just themselves and their own opinion, but the experience that they've gotten from others who've spoken to them. They've looking at the facts, what organizations have looked into, the research. And then on the other side, you got someone going, "Nuh-uh, I don't think so. No, my opinion's different."
Yeah, sorry, the TV personality has a different opinion. Okay, what the fuck do I care?
Right.
I mean, listen, he's welcome to his opinion, but his opinion just doesn't line up with the facts of where not just the Democratic Party base, but the vast majority of Americans are. I mean, he's welcome to his opinion, but it's not the same opinion as most people.
And why is it relevant to be broadcast?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Very angry over Iran. So it's not only Israel.
I have not heard the poor people of Iran, the people who've gotten decimated and killed. I don't hear the same level of fury and passion.
I also have to say that one interesting race to consider in New York was the race between Brad Lander and Dan Goldman. Two Jewish men, Democrats, both I know personally, both really good public servants.
Yeah, Dan Goldman wouldn't call it a genocide. It hurt it. Like that was the entry ticket. You have to call it a genocide, otherwise we can't elect you. Brad Lander just.
That district where I live has a significant number of Jewish voters, and many of those voters voted for Brad Lander. Others voted for Dan Goldman, and so I just, this is not only about anti-Semitism. This goes beyond anti-Semitism. Yeah. This is about how American tax dollars are being spent.
Like the level of aggression that he has towards her is really crazy, and she's trying so hard not to offend him.
Yeah,
and the fact that this is really the kind of stuff that people are navigating, and it's why the elite or the elite conversation about this, where in New York, I am saying, of course, Zionism is an ideology that's shared by largely white people, but it's both Jewish and there are Christian Zionists as well. So I'm not trying to say this is because of Jewish people. I'm trying to say that in wealthier circles, Zionism is an ideology that is overrepresented. And she's just trying to say the facts of what she saw attending that Claire Valdez party and what people were motivated by. And he can't even emotionally handle it and is trying to shut her down.
I apologize for saying this isn't a credible man in Donnie Deutsch. Let me just read from his Wikipedia. He's published 7 books, including a business motivation book called Often Wrong, Never in Doubt, Unleash the Business Rebel Within.
Yeah.
Book received mixed reviews. And one saying in the chapter, it all comes back to babes. It has the quote, "I'm not going to fuck
Donnie
somebody
Deutsch.
for business, ... unless she's really hot. Why not? I'd fuck her if we weren't doing business." So there we go. Donnie Deutsch, welcome to MSNBC, MS Now Studios for your brilliant insight into all this shit.
Right, exactly. I mean, if he just wasn't there, the facts of what she saw at the Valdez party could have been communicated to the audience without this insane indignance.
You just put him in the grave.
It's like an old man watching his TV, except he's there on set.
Yep. Oh, there's Brandon.
Put him in the grave,
that's
dude.
That's a good one.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. I just don't get why he's there.
Yep.
It's so weird to look at these news programs, particularly cable, but I imagine the network news, like Sunday shows, do this too. But like the CNN, how do you book these shows? These are charlatans.
Listen, if he was on as a one-off every now and then,
he's always
still,
on there.
Why is he on? But okay, maybe they want to throw out some people from offbeat areas just to get different voices. This guy's a regular on the show. He's taking up a spot on a daily basis from someone who is way more informed and has better analysis. It's just bizarre.
I mean, imagine if in Mad Men, Don Draper's going to talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis on TV. It's you're an advertiser. What are you doing here?
Right.
Well, I mean, you have to understand. Well, I mean, in their defense, you have to understand that a significant portion of Americans, how many I don't know, but a significant portion are psychopaths. So if you don't have psychopath representation on the panel, a lot of people are going to feel alienated. You gotta have at least one person on the panel that's just we gotta do a genocide, right? We just gotta kill a bunch of people.
Of course.
It's if you don't
representation,
a lot of Americans will just tune out. They won't understand what's happening. That's a really important part of the conversation.
You're right. All right, guys, going to read some IMs and then we'll get out of here. Number 13, do this on the show because he is paid to be, hence the problem with the system. The rich do whatever they want and go wherever they want. The concentration of influence has made them delusional.
There's other richer people.
Yeah. Maybe he's just, I would guess he's just like friends
They
with
just
Joe.
like him. Yeah, it's embarrassing.
JR in Philly, the Lander-Goldman race shows this is not beyond anti-Semitism. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism whatsoever. Yes. And that district, which is also my district, like I don't know if there is a district that has a higher proportion of Jewish people in the country. I mean, we would have to look that up, but it's pretty signigious.
I mean, Upper East Side
or Borough Park.
Upper East Side, probably. I mean, it's definitely it's not a very Zionist Jewish population, though. You see way more Free Palestine stuff here. Whereas you go on the Upper East Side, you'll see like Zionist stuff.
That's exactly a great. The Upper East Side, the wealthier you are, the more likely you are to be Zionist. Like the Park Slope area here in Brooklyn, which has a large Jewish population, like Park Slope Co-op just voted to divest.
Yep.
So I mean, people need to stop doing this.
I think you see that across a lot of, honestly, diaspora groups who have this kind of issue going on. Like the rich areas of London that I'm around sometimes, for a while, a lot of Persian monarchist flags, right? Like this, like support of the military-industrial complex and the unending war, you know, it plays out like across like class lines, I think, very acutely.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take...
We have a playlist now, I think. Except we don't want to play that again. That's for later. Okay, here we go.
Here is Stephen Miller, the White House Homeland Security Advisor and Nazi vampire who is driving some of the most sadistic impulses of the Trump administration, has been pushing what Ken Klippenstein has been reporting on doggedly for quite a while, the criminalization, essentially, of left-wing activism. NSPM 7 is this directive that tells federal law enforcement, essentially, to prioritize targeting left-wing groups, and that includes people who they describe as, like, gender extremists, meaning anybody who's an LGBTQ activist, pro-Palestine activist, DSA. I mean,
look at all the pro-Palestine activists they've already rounded up under the immigration stuff.
Yeah.
Just widen that net.
Widening it and telling the FBI and others to prioritize this. So then when you pair this with last night, Trump going out and red baiting and saying that China's trying to overturn the results of our elections, you can see how they're going to try to create some sort of national security excuse to crack down on the civil liberties of left in this country. If they're successful, I mean, that's not necessarily, you know, that story hasn't been written, and the midterms are going to do,
that's true,
are going to be really important in at least stymieing them to a degree. But here is Stephen Miller explaining to, again, this was a group of foreign diplomats, but you can see behind
I think Mark Carney was in attendance. Good old, you know, the... We need to change our ways, Mark Carney.
Right. Like the backdrop says the resurgence of political terrorism, and he is...
He's the face of it.
Right,
sorry, is this to do with us bombing bridges in Iran?
No. This is about telling these foreign diplomats and officials that they need to join in on the Trump administration's all-out war on left-wing political terrorists in the United States. Okay.
Totally.
President Trump issued a directive. In our parlance, it's called a National Security Presidential Memorandum, or NSPM. NSPM 7, to be exact, that directs, for the first time in American history, all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country. It's very important to understand that left-wing political terrorism seeks as its ultimate end the overthrow of our system and form of government. And we've seen this has taken place many times in many places throughout the years, and Secretary Rubio has provided you many examples. Left-wing terrorism always ends in bloodshed, misery, and suffering. It only can travel in one direction. There's no point at which the left-wing terrorist is satisfied with his gains and ceases progressing.
Projection.
Inevitably, left to run its course,
literal projection.
it always becomes a gulag.
Projection.
It always becomes the mass imprisonment of political enemies.
Yep. He's literally talking about himself. Wow.
The stripping of their rights and freedoms, inflicting immense pain, humiliation,
Right to jail. Right away.
suffering, in order to establish complete and total control. Control through psychological and physical and actual terror.
Okay.
And we have to...
What the fuck?
He just said exactly what they're doing, and he knows it.
Yeah.
They know it. They know it. This is a classic fascist playbook. You're attempting to disarm the criticisms of you on the merits from the left by accusing your enemy of doing the exact same thing that you're doing. We're talking about gulags and being unrelenting and ideologically motivated and committing terrorism.
Yeah.
And just like trying to destroy society. Give me a break here.
It's also so ineffectual to say left-wing. You should say left-wing politics, not left-wing terrorism.
Yeah. Right.
Ends in bloodshed and a gulag. Like that does.
Yes.
People
What
just hear
terrorism?
Of course, terrorism ends in bloodshed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Like,
shit.
I don't know.
It's an oxymoron.
He's arguing against the idea that left-wing terrorism could have good outcomes.
Yeah, accidentally.
You shouldn't be defensive on that front, Steve.
Yeah.
You're kind of playing from behind there.
But like what is scary is they're going to try to use not just like federal law enforcement for investigations, but probably the Treasury or the IRS to target groups that they deem to be too far left. This is a part of like actually an escalating strategy by the capitalist class. I headline this, but they're just trying to basically suppress all dissent through either, prosecuting them from the federal level with this fascist administration, or what James Dolan is doing by going after Wired and suing them for accurately reporting on his mass surveillance database of LGBTQ artists at Madison Square Garden. Like, they're trying to make sure that any kind of dissent is criminalized. And I know that's a civil lawsuit, but it feels like they understand that they have to be incredibly defensive right now, and they're being quite aggressive against reporters in particular.
Yeah, they're digging in, and this is the history of this country. I would recommend one book on the subject, The Burglary, The Discovery of J. Edgar Hoover's Secret FBI, in which a number of, I believe, Catholic anti-war activists broke into an FBI office and righteously, I would underline, stole a bunch of documents that turned out to expose COINTELPRO, the massive infiltration of left-wing and civil rights movements under J. Edgar Hoover. And the shocking thing was, prior to that, when you had mentioned that the FBI was spending a huge amounts of its budget on those sorts of activities, you would be looked at as crazy. And then you actually saw how much time they were spending on it, and it was, surprise, a huge amount at a time where there was serial killers walking the streets and stuff like that. A huge part of these budgets were spent towards having people go undercover toward anti-war meetings and either infiltrate them or disrupt them in certain ways. Now this is just them saying we're going to put a lot of money to this openly, and they'll do the exact same thing. They'll send people undercover. They'll inform on it, and we're seeing now with the Code Pink, Singham, Neville Singham, I believe, and Fergie Chambers. They're going to go after the legal and financial infrastructure, and you're going to probably see NGOs and stuff go at it. They also try
Media Matters too. Elon Musk suing Media Matters. I know this is different.
Yes.
But the billionaires are working in conjunction with the state on this.
Go back even further. Peter Thiel taking out Gawker. This is how they play.
So the Supreme Court cleared the way for Alabama Republicans to pursue a new voting map, and the coverage of that decision split almost instantly along partisan lines.
Democrats aren't hiding it anymore. Their hatred for Israel's out in the open after nearly half of House Democrats backed ending all U.S. aid to the Jewish state in a landmark vote.
Right.
But one commie is taking it a step further, saying it's no biggie if you're a Nazi, as long as you vote the right way.
I don't really care if, say, like Bernie Sanders or AOC go home and
one commie?
They're a secret Nazi, but they go out and they vote for the right thing.
Calls her a
we're
commie?
talking about
You don't care?
politicians as I mean, but why would it matter if they're public officials and they're doing the right thing in public? I'm not here to say that they're like, the greatest person on the planet. This is about a representation of the values of a party platform.
But not every Democrat is on the anti-Semitism bandwagon. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who I believe is on Kayleigh's show this weekend, is drawing a red line on Israel.
I believe that the Democratic Party is going to become more anti-Israel. As long as we continue to do that, you make that official. You make that part of our platform. That's my red line in the Democratic Party. Look at the people that are winning these primaries right now. They're not just, I'm just pro-Palestinian. I'm deeply anti-Israel. They campaign with garbage like Hassan Piker that's pro-Hamas.
Garbage.
Kat, if you want to cut all aid to Israel, does that make you necessarily anti-Semitic?
So you said that it was taking it one step further to say that you don't care if people are Nazis. I think that that's taking it like a lot more than one step further. I think that is one of the craziest things that I've heard anybody say, quite frankly. And I don't know who that guy was, Jessica. I think you know what his name is, but I thought his response was really funny when he was like, wait, what? Like sometimes when you're in an interview with somebody, you're kind of like, okay, like, yeah, and you can just kind of find yourself nodding along. He was not nodding along. He's like, wait, whoa, what did you just say? Because look, and I'm always someone who's like, hey, live and let live. I don't like to see too much concern about a candidate's personal life. But I think that I do draw the line if in their personal life they're a Nazi. And I will say that I don't care who you vote for. I think that that's an issue because I think that if you're a Nazi, if you're a literal Nazi, if you believe that Jews are inferior for being Jews, then I think that perhaps you might be a little dangerous being around power if you were in that position. And I thought it was particularly interesting because this woman who said this, she herself has, called out Republicans saying, this is Nazi speech, this is Nazi this is Nazi that. So she can't do that now. She can't ask people to then care that she's calling someone else a Nazi when she just said it doesn't matter to her if someone's a Nazi. So I feel like, people do make the argument, and you can make the argument, sure, that you can criticize the government of Israel without criticizing Jewish people. However, that doesn't mean that there can't be anti-Semitism by some of the same people who do that. I think that there's separate things we need to look at, but that's not a catch-all cover. And I feel like when you have people saying things as alarming as, I don't care if someone's a Nazi, as long as they, pretty much no matter what they say after that is going to be something that's going to really raise my eyebrows, because that is something that should be truly dangerous, and that's something that should transcend politics. That if you're a Nazi, that is bad.
Yeah. Were there Republicans, Kayleigh, that voted to cut aid to Israel?
Thomas Massey, but
surrounded by
that guy's out.
Nazis.
But when you look at the Democratic caucus, there were 103 Democrats that voted for ending aid, 98 who voted against, 10 present. More Democrats voted for ending aid to Israel than voted to keep it there. And when you look at aid to Israel, even taking, your hat off of what you think about Israel, it's strategically smart. They're our only ally in the Middle East. They've been there. They reciprocate intelligence. It's a smart relationship to have. But John Fetterman, my co-host on Saturday in America, I joke, he's not. We have him on a lot because we like his reasonableness, said his red line for leaving the party would be Israel. Well, there's going to be pressure on Democrats if they win the House to come up with a cohesive position. And I venture to think they will side with the majority of the Democratic caucus, which is for ending aid to Israel. And the man you're looking at with the cool sunglasses, John Fetterman, he will be, I know, Jessica, you dream of flipping 4 Senate seats and taking back the Senate. The man you're looking at will be your 51st vote. You lose him, you lose your hopes and dreams of the Senate. And you're about to lose the man you're looking at.
Ooh, are you about to lose that man, Jessica?
Goodbye, loser.
I don't know. Kayleigh knows him better than I do. So maybe she is
got a handle on this and their special relationship like we have with Israel and continue to have. Bibi Netanyahu himself has said, we don't need the aid anymore. When you look at the 100+ Democrats that voted for them, some who have always criticized Israel, some who I have called anti-Semitic on this network, some like Nancy Pelosi and Adam Smith, who have led trips to Israel and used this vote to send a signal that the way that the Netanyahu government is behaving, and that includes how he is constantly on a war footing, what's going on with the settlements in Israel is unacceptable, and that they don't deserve billions of dollars from us for that. So you cannot make this a blanket statement. On the Nazi front, I care if you have a Nazi tattoo. I care when Graham Plattner had one.
Aren't you cool?
I don't think we should throw that around. Estad Herndon, I always mess it up, had a great reaction. But there is some, I guess, potential Nazi tattoo or Nazi issues brewing on the right. I don't know if you saw this new report about Mike Collins, the congressman who's running for Senate against John Ossoff, who's lapping him. I think he has like $42 million in his war chest as well. But his son-in-law is a white nationalist.
Is his son-in-law the candidate?
No,
that's not even a blood relative.
Well, I'm saying that if you want to get out, this guy's in his campaign paraphernalia. He lives in a house that Mike Collins owns. He has said things like, nothing wrong with white nationalism. Jewish Bolsheviks killed millions of Christians before World War II. And all Mike Collins can summon is, I'm a strong supporter of Israel. I don't know if he wasn't aware of the fact that this guy who's posted
Jessica,
about
you
the
have
Patriot
Chevalier.
Front.
That is ridiculous. I'm sorry to ignore that. The anti-Semitism problem is on your side. Chevalier is the candidate. And Mike Collins is a separate.
I call it out every time. I'm saying if you don't think this is going to be a factor in a high-profile
We're going
Senate
after
race,
in-laws now. All right, in-laws are in fair game. Someone has probably every tattoo except a Nazi tattoo. Is that right?
Yeah.
If I have a Nazi tattoo, I'm in the Graham Plattner role of didn't know it. But I don't think so. I'm rather fond of killing Nazis myself. We did a good job at it in the 40s, and if we have to do it again, we will. I have no problem with that.
Oh, really?
They're the enemy of our state. At the end of the day, there is a fine, there's a big gap. There's a gulf between being anti-Semitic and skeptical of spending money from our country towards any other country. That's okay. You should ask questions. I ask questions about our war policy, and the guy in charge of the War Department is someone I used to sit beside and consider a friend. Doesn't mean I don't ask questions. Doesn't mean I don't have criticism, but I don't question his motive. I know he loves his country, and I know he wants to beat and kill our enemies. I don't question Israel's motive to be a country in an area where for 60 years people have tried to decimate, destroy, and erase them. That doesn't mean that Bibi Netanyahu is going to bat 1,000. Doesn't mean that Israel isn't trying to get the United States.
I don't know, chat.
To politically and policy-wise be in their best interest. It's up to the President of the United States to handle anybody that lobbies him. Israel, Ukraine, Europe, UK, Mexico, anybody in this country, any of the 535 members of the 2 chambers of our Congress, any industry in this country. Doesn't make any of those people bad, evil, or against America if they're lobbying for an interest that they believe to be vital to their existence. And so the difference between having an intellectual political disagreement about where our money goes or how we spend it and being completely anti-Semitic is being conflated on the right and the left. The left is doing it with this mind virus of the only way to support the kids of Palestine is to be pro-Hamas and want to see Israel wiped off the map. And the right is doing it saying, hold up just a minute, you said you were America first. And right now we see ourselves in a multi-month, potentially year-long war with Iran, and where is it going to go? And did Bibi Netanyahu sell you a bad bill of goods to get us there? That's an okay question. I think the answer is no, because I think President Trump has, other than dropping the F-bomb a time or two in the last couple of weeks and telling us about it to Bibi, I think he's shown that he has his own line as far as how far he's willing to go and what he's willing to spend in this war. But if you're Bibi Netanyahu, of course you want to see the most powerful country in the world take out your biggest enemy when they're their enemy too. So this idea that it's some sort of manipulation, I think, is what comes from the 4chan chats and the conspiracies. The left and the right are dealing with it in very different ways. The left is dealing with it by rolling it into this DSA that's equally anti-American as it is
Or
anything, because
dads.
it's truly communism, and it looks at us as some colonial oppressor, and they're rolling it into that and saying the Jews are complacent in that or complicit in that. And the right is saying, hold up just a minute, we want it to be America first. So that gulf is just as wide between the left and the right when it
How's
comes
it America
to
first when
Israel
we're fucking
as
hacking?
anti-Semitism and being skeptical of every decision your government makes. And that's the problem here is they're easy to conflate, but they're completely different things. As far as John Ossoff and Mike Collins goes, I'll look at Mike Collins' record and John Ossoff's record. When he can't vote for a bill that honors Laken Riley, he can get voted out of Congress for Mike Collins all day and twice.
Bingo.
Well,
He and Warnock voted for it.
Bingo.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
She knows everything about him.
You're
She's a
right.
big crush.
You're right.
Everyone has a crush on John Ossoff.
Not everybody.
Well,
This whole Pete Hegseth thing today, I'm sure you probably already covered it, right? The testosterone levels.
Well, I was going to play it right now. I wanted to segue to that.
Yeah, it's all like, this man is weak. He is pathetic. He knows no one respects him in the military. He probably has the lowest testosterone level. He can't even weightlift properly. He can't even do pull-ups, but he demands men who have high T levels. And you know what, if I may say so, and I want to bring some evidence to this, and I say this not as a pejorative, I'm saying this literally as a definitional. MAGA should rebrand itself as Make America Gay Again, because they are the gayest political movement I have ever seen in my life.
Pretty gay.
Like these, like gay, like homosexual, like these guys, these people love men and hate women.
Yes, indeed.
Pete Hegseth got rid of all these qualified women from positions of power. He wants well-groomed men with high testosterone levels, which is totally like what straight men think about all the time. They literally burn down Grindr. They use Grindr so much that Grindr's like, bro, please stop using Grindr. You have Donald Trump now coming out. Have you seen Donald Trump the last 4 weeks? Like, he's handsome. He's got a good face.
Oh, he's
Look
obsessed.
at him with the thighs. And then they celebrate
Look at the thighs
America
on that
with
guy.
UFC, with big
Love to
muscled
see it.
men and spandex submitting each other. Their mascot should be remember the Gimp from Pulp Fiction? They're the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. I'm not fetish shaming, but they're power bottoms at their best.
You know, it's funny. I had a journalist on to talk to me about the UFC, and I didn't understand really just how much it was a ploy, and how much Trump knew that he needed the UFC to make himself seem more masculine, more strong. Like, he's not a New Yorker with soft hands who's never done a day of fucking work. Like, he wants to rip people's throats out. And also, let's be real, this hyper masculinity is a facet of fascism. We've seen that. But why you so obsessed with me, bro, really is the name of it. I mean, I would feel, if you're in the military, and I know it's sort of weird to say this, and it is not, look, it is not an apolitical institution, but I think by virtue of what it is asked to do and by what people are sent off to do, by the bases, by all of this, the foreign wars. But I think a lot of people who do join the military don't think of themselves as political animals. They're not doing it for to dunk on the libs or drink.
money.
They're doing it for a steady job. They actually might be good in whatever it is, logistics or computing, whatever it is. Or I had a friend who's like, I like flying planes. There's only one place I can really work, and then
That's
two
true.
places if I, retired and
I
can,
considered
or not
it.
retired, but I move into commercial airlining. And that is, the what's the one with the planes? The Air Force, And so,
yeah.
I just think it's it's really also an affront to them and their sort of political neutrality, if you will, and cultural neutrality. And that is to be nah, you're the Secretary of War's little high T bitch. And I want to play this video because it's pretty astounding what is happening here.
At the Department of War, we have the most elite warriors on the face of the earth. Every single day, you are pushed to your absolute physical and mental limits to master the profession of arms. We demand your all, and you give it. But while we invest heavily in our weapon systems, platforms, and gear, our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance your resilience, and your long-term health.
In bed.
Right.
And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiencies for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best. Because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop. Under the supervision of our world-class—
Oh God, not another shot.
Warfighters age 30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. It's a health assessment that happens every year. We're just adding this test. Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test as well.
Oh God.
If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy. This initiative, it's not about artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capability, protecting your longevity, and ensuring you have the biological foundation required to sustain the fight.
Okay, I'm so sorry, but once again, men and like, this is so embarrassing for you guys.
Bro.
Like,
bro.
This is so... I'm trying to think of a corollary for women and like how embarrassing and be like, you know, and even this is like a little bit wild, but like, and every service member will make sure to, you know, we're going to do all of your birth chart astrologically, and we will make sure that we're sending you into battle when there is a new moon. And if you're not getting your Sephora discount, like, I'm just like, it is like the most cringe male thing to do, to be obsessed with tea and then do it from the head of the Department of Defense. Like, this is so painful. Like, you want to know what it...
Gay again.
I see her.
MAGA.
There is one... Look, I'll tell you right now, I am no scientist, but I could tell you, like, telltale sign that you've got low T. You're talking about low T.
Yeah. The fact that you even know about it, the fact that you're so obsessed about it, it's all projection all the time. Listen, I'm just going to be blunt. I don't care about these people. They're freaks. They're destroying our democracy. And I think we should mock them and ridicule them.
Thank you, sir.
A secret that is not a secret. In DC, ever since MAGA took over, DC has become even more gay. And by gay, I'm not using it as a pejorative. I mean gay, as in they like to have sex with men gay. So much so that Steve Bannon's, like, 24-year-old co-host was complaining in an interview that she's having trouble finding dates because all the MAGA men are gay in the city, she said.
Yeah, and also Benny Johnson, open secret that he's gay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, gay. We all know that he's gay. Lindsey Graham, he went
Definitely
to Disneyland by
was
himself
gay.
with his little Ariel wand, right? My take on this, and I think you agree with me, is that if you're gay, be gay, live your life. But it's the hypocrisy and the hatred. And because of the hypocrisy and the hatred, that's why I think they're open targets. And I think that's perfectly fine to mock them this way. Because of the hypocrisy, the weakness,
They should
because
be
you
mocked by
project
gay people,
strength,
too.
but you're cosplaying, because you're telling on yourself. This obsession with masculinity, Viking strength, testosterone shows me that you're the guy secretly, not so secretly, buying horny goat weed and trying to, like, spend $10,000 to, like, eat a tiger's penis, or, like, you know, you
also,
guys are,
like, you can be masculine and gay. I'm sorry, you can be masculine and gay, and
not be a weirdo, not be a freak.
And look, everyone is looking for more tops. The gay world needs more tops, and just live your truth. No,
just live your truth. Just live your truth. But this is why I think it's fair game. They not only don't live their truth, they're aligned with the most anti-LGBTQ administration in history, the most misogynistic, racist administration in history. Yeah. And when you are simultaneously self-hating and a hypocrite, but also then aligned with an administration that's doing so much harm, especially to transgender kids, then I think let's play. I think you go all in and mock them. Francesca.
I mean, because people are saying this sounds like gender affirming care, right? This is the same military, literally. And there are thousands of transgender service members who were had years, decades of work, who have been purged from the military, and And this is also the other lie, right? The lie, what he's playing into is the more testosterone, the better a fighting machine will be. The smarter, the better. Yes, yes, because men jacked up on tea always make good decisions. Men without any other input other than like, me have bigger gun than you, always do good things. It's what's gotten us into this quagmire of a war, and yeah, we should be starting to call it that ain't over anytime soon, that is draining the economy, to say nothing of the lives lost in Iran and American service members. I mean, and you have the seriousness of Pete Hegseth, which is this kind of shit. This morning, the flyovers will continue until morale improves.
Exactly.
And not only the morale, folks, that the reason why that was so terrible, if you've seen the video, it's horrifying. Like a jet flying at that speed right above the heads of human beings, that causes trauma, that causes hearing loss. There were children, and there was this video in this photo, I don't know if you saw, of this little boy who's just sitting there like terrified. So you're gonna increase the morale of innocent Americans just enjoying their day at the beach by deliberately flying a Blue Angel jet right above their heads, which is dangerous and completely not recommended at all, traumatizing them, hurting their eardrums of young kids and moms. That's how you win people over. Wow.
Yeah, that is what he's responding to, right? Like, just, I mean, this is a guy who did a joyride.
Yes, it burst eardrums, shock and awe. That's what happens. What's the point? Why? Just to be cruel. Like a cruel, weak bully, Francesca.
I mean,
these guys are such losers.
Look at how close this is.
How low it was.
Terrifying.
That's so
Holy
dangerous.
Shit.
U.S. Navy, yay!
It's less than 100 feet.
Also, like, this is the same shit he did in California.
Christ, that's
he
100 feet.
Did his little Top
She's
Gun
at
moment.
100.
And was like, I want a joyride, and it cost taxpayers
60.
however millions and millions and millions of dollars to do the said joyride.
She's at 60
to say nothing
feet.
of the gas and all this, and it's just it's pretty pathetic. It's very pathetic. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bituationroom. Do it.
You don't know what you have to hide yet because things change and data outlives legal regimes. If you go back to pre-Dobbs, people would go and get abortion.
It says roughly 50 to 90 feet off the water when she flew over. Now, she was over the water, of course, but still, I just called it. I was like, she was less than 100 feet.
Care without really thinking about the fact that data was being collected that could retroactively hurt people.
AI technology continues to proliferate at breakneck speed. But while there's a lot of energy for reining in the capabilities of these big tech companies, there hasn't been a lot of discussion about regulating how the government and different entities can even use AI. Dr. Matthew Guariglia is a senior policy analyst at the EFF, and he testified to the government recently about how governments should not adopt emerging and powerful AI technologies without also adopting clear and strong safeguards. He's researched and reported extensively about how generative AI technology is being used to supercharge unconstitutional violations of civil liberties, and how government secrecy, in addition to the black box of for-profit property technology, prevents the public and lawmakers from knowing when AI models even make a mistake. So today I'm really excited to have Matthew here to talk about his work on AI and mass surveillance, and how the government is using this technology to obliterate our civil liberties, and what we can do to fight back and mitigate these effects. Hi, Matthew, welcome.
Hi, I'm glad to be on the show.
So I want to dig into the work that you're doing around AI. I feel like there's been so many concerns, especially online, about the impact of AI in terms of the environment, the physical impact, a lot of discussion around harms for children. I put that in quotes because I think sometimes the stories can be misleading, but you're kind of diving into something else, which is this threat of mass surveillance and how AI has really democratized mass surveillance in a lot of ways. So when did you first start digging into this this issue?
AI emerged on my radar as it did everybody else just in the last few years in terms of thinking about automated decision making and taking aspects of governance already that are harmful and that we understand they're harmful, things like unaccountable bureaucracy that makes decisions without a lot of transparency or accountability, or mass surveillance, which has existed for a long time, and really kind of automating those processes so they are less accountable, less democratic, and potentially can happen at a scale much larger and much faster than we're used to.
Well, I'm curious if you can kind of explain how that works. I mean, I feel like we all understand, probably a lot of us have used AI for search. In your recent congressional testimony, you talked about how it's not just the scale, but the ease of use and access that this technology brings. You brought up this fact that, which I didn't know, that I guess like previously when you would do searches or the government wanted to like use certain spyware, they had to rent out entire airport hangars to store the data physically, or there was this bar for entry, I guess, for surveillance and a lot of these tools. And now obviously AI has kind of like lowered that bar. So yeah, I'm wondering if you can explain how that shift has happened and what the results are.
This goes back actually longer than the existence of modern digital technologies. When you think about the growth of the FBI in the 20th century, they would collect these files on people. These files were big paper artifacts. They took up space. It took a long time for people to physically type them, and then you had to store them somewhere. And the FBI had airplane hangars where they were filled with filing cabinets where they kept fingerprints and files on millions of people. And if you wanted to go through and like try to find connections or think about somebody's politics, you had to like go physically there. You had to dig through the pile. You had to read 100 pages of what the FBI thought about this person. And then you had to see if that linked up with another person. You had to do the same thing again. And so the barrier to entry to surveillance was quite high. Right? Like bureaucrats had to think about you. They had to know about you. They had to go alphabetically to where your file was stored, and they had to read a lot of pages. And so the protections for most of us were that you were kind of obscure. It actually took a tremendous amount of effort to think about you and to surveil you. AI kind of automates that system and really reduces the amount of effort, amount of labor it takes to actually put people under a microscope. And so now you have AI that can scrape your entire public presence on social media and the web. It could look at your friends list, who you follow. It could infer things about your politics and cross-reference that with your campaign donations or with your voting record, how often you vote. And so it could cross-reference that with data brokers selling your geolocation. So suddenly you have the ability to, without any human labor really at all, create massive dossiers on people. And it's really concerning.
The dossier thing is so real. I mean, I was watching that movie, All the President's Men, about Watergate recently, and it was so bizarre to even watch the depiction of what journalism used to be like and how hard it was. Like, they had to go through the phone book at one point. I was like, oh yeah, I guess you couldn't just Google people. Like, it is so easy now where everyone has an online footprint to dig things up. And as a journalist, of course, you spend quite a lot of time. It's not always so easy. It's much easier, right? But you still had to put together usernames, go through lots of websites, do a lot of reading. And now we have these systems that can just read for us. And you mentioned political affiliations. Can you talk a little bit more about what these AI systems can infer about a person and how that information could be used against people? Because I think a lot of people might say, well, I don't have anything to hide. That's the favorite response that people love to say is, well, I'm just living my life. So what if they know I'm a Democrat? You know, I have nothing to hide. I'm not part of one of these fringe groups protesting, whatever. I'm just sort of like a normie. So why should I worry?
Yeah, I mean, I love getting this question, and I do, as you can imagine, almost constantly. And the answer is, one, if you live in a space where a tremendous amount of surveillance doesn't affect you, congratulations. You are quite a privileged person, and you live in a state where that vulnerability doesn't come back to haunt you. But there are a lot of neighborhoods where constant surveillance is the name of the game. And because of that constant surveillance, things are much more enforceable. You know, they say that like the average person commits a number of felonies a day. I don't know the exact number. And a lot of us don't expect for that to haunt us. We speed all the time. We roll through red lights. We hit that yellow just as it turns red. We litter, who jaywalk, whatever it is.
Not me for the future AI scraping this.
Some people can get away with that because you don't live under a constant state of surveillance. I mean, one of the things we learned about the Ferguson report is that Ferguson, Missouri, a huge portion portion of the city's budget was made up of this mass ticketing regime that disproportionately affected black residents, and that is enabled by mass surveillance. It is. Right. And so one, if you think surveillance isn't affecting you and that it's a kind of like philosophical problem and it's not a real harm, like congratulations, you live a very privileged life. And the other thing is you don't know what you have to hide yet because things change and data outlives legal regimes. If you go back to pre-Dobbs, people would go and get abortion care without really thinking about the fact that data was being collected that could retroactively hurt people. And Donald Trump said in his 2015, his first presidential campaign, that he would consider prosecutions for people seeking abortion. Yeah. And like, that's the kind of thing that haunts people who think about surveillance because you know that data is out there. And there's like a million different ways. I mean, you know, certain political affiliations you have. If you go to a protest and you think it's a peaceful protest and then somebody knocks over a trash can and lights it on fire and suddenly everybody who's at the protest could be considered a criminal suspect. Or how many people have purchased marijuana in states where it's legal? If it became not legal tomorrow, there will be records of you having purchased that. You know, there are so many things you can think about. And it's historic too. The people who led the way in the 20th century for collecting a lot of data on people was this nation of Germany. And people didn't think that it was a huge problem that the German state had collected all of this data until in 1933, the people who inherited all of that data were the Nazis. And that's a very hyperbolic. I know there's the rule of the internet that eventually everybody's going to get to Nazis, but it is something you have to think about because there are American examples too, with the U.S. Census being used to help find Japanese Americans for internment.
If you're watching this video and you like my work, please support me on Patreon via the link below or buy a paid subscription to my tech and online culture newsletter at usermag.co. That's usermag.co. I don't have any long-term brand partnership.
People was this nation of Germany, and people didn't think that it was a huge problem that the German state had collected.
So if you guys would like to see the effect that Joe Rogan has had on comedy, look no further than this right here, okay? So this guy's name is Ben Bankus, I guess is his name. And apparently, according to Seth Simons here, the New York City Comedy Festival just announced this guy as a headliner. So this is now what comedy has become in the Rogan era. And these are the kind of comedians that the Rogan sphere has birthed into the ether. Okay? So prepare yourself for, you know, what would it look like if Bill O'Reilly was a fat 27-year-old who wanted to be a comic? Or if Sean Hannity was a fat 27-year-old who wanted to become a comic? This is what that would look like. Here's what we got. Here we go.
Now for a moment of silence for Renee Good.
Fuck you.
Really hope that dog's okay. And her pet.
Now, for those of you who don't remember, Renee Nicole Good was the woman who was shot in the face at point blank range from ICE. And then ICE lied about it and said that she was trying to run over the ICE agent with the car when, you know, any standard analysis of that moment would show that she was pointing the steering wheel away and trying to drive away. So this was like the first instance of ICE illegally stopping a car, murdering somebody at point blank by shooting them in the face. This this ICE Gestapo thug who got away with it folks. Is hiding basically. Like he's been shifted or sent to a different state to stay on the job, by the way, in a different state and keep working even though he's a murderer walking among us.
Yep.
Then you had Alex Preddy, of course, who was killed after that. Another example of basically a cold-blooded assassination. And for anybody who's keeping track, we're at about 53 different people who've died in ICE custody in Trump's second term. 53. I believe they've shot 11 of them. There's also evidence that one of them was lynched. They're not giving people their medicine that they have a right to when they're, in custody. It is just a litany of abuses. And this is why ICE is polling tremendously low. And now when you look at the polling numbers, Americans are more pro-immigration now than they've been in recent history because they see, oh, okay, wait a second. If my options are militarized thugs in the street, murdering people and arresting them and shoving them in concentration camps, or just having working class immigrants here who make the country better, I'm going to pick working class immigrants being here and making the country better.
Right.
So that's who Renee Nicole Good is. And if you don't understand the joke here, the joke is she sucks. She's a piece of shit. So it's nice to know that if any of us ever get shot in the face at point blank by a Gestapo thug when we've done nothing wrong, it's nice to know that half the country will just immediately try to tarnish us and shit on our legacy and call us bad people merely for being a victim of a crime. That's great. Good to know. Good to know.
That's what you don't want when you're dealing with the police, your lesbian wife. Just, drive, baby, drive. Oh. Yeah, her last name was Good. That's what I said after they shot her in the face. Renee, Good. She's dead. No, I joke. I honestly, I'm not a liberal, so I don't celebrate the death of people that I didn't hate her. I didn't know her.
Why is it that every conservative is just like committed to not acknowledging reality? There is not a single honest, reasonable person who wouldn't acknowledge that the number one person who celebrates the demise of people they dislike is Donald J. Trump. And he goes, I'm not a liberal. I don't celebrate it when people who I don't like die or get killed. Didn't Trump literally just do that with Rob Reiner? He just did it with Rob Reiner. And that wasn't even that long ago. What was Trump's reaction after we learned that Biden has stage 4 cancer? He said, I don't feel bad for him at all. That's what he said. Okay, and I know I'm missing, Robert Mueller. He did it with Robert Mueller. That also wasn't that long ago. Was that like 3 months ago or something like that? He's like, good, I'm glad he's dead. And I'm not like those liberals. Please, with the fucking fake holier-than-thou bullshit. Oh, my days. I can't. The reason why guys like this are pathetic is because they're total hacks, number one. Number two, dude, we get it. We don't. I listen to you for a minute and 20 seconds. I already know your whole worldview. I already know everything about it. Let me guess. Liberals suck. They're the worst. But also, lesbians suck. Trans people suck. Black people suck. All people who politically are the opposite of you suck. And let me guess, you have nothing negative to say whatsoever about the billionaires, the fascists, the warmongers, the people who are actually fucking destroying not only this country, but the world. Pathetic. Let's keep going.
Now that I know her, I hated her. But that's the left's Charlie Kirk. They're going to get shirts. I am Renee Good. I am a dumb, retarded lesbian.
They're like, what's the joke? Where's the joke? This is Tony Hinchcliffe comedy, right? Where it's like, the goal is not actually to make people laugh. The goal is to make people go, He's more of a shock jock than a fucking comedian. Like, that's what this is. I know, right? You're just trying to go for the shock value. Did I offend you? Oh, did I offend you? Are you going to be a little snowflake? Is that what it is? Are you going to be a snowflake? Am I offensive? It's literally like, Daddy, look at me. Mommy, look at me. I'm saying the thing I'm not supposed to say.
I mean, if you watch the footage, she should have been shot 10 minutes before that. The way she was acting, driving around with cops, and they gave her a break. They didn't shoot her right away because they're like, oh, she's a dumb, crazy, retarded lesbian. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's white, so she's never committed a crime before.
What'd I tell you? Fuck black people, fuck trans people, fuck gay people, fuck liberal. That's the whole thing. You know the whole package of ideas a minute into hearing him do his comedy, his so-called comedy.
Right? They gave her the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. Like, just get out of here, come on. And then she...
Yeah, that's... Everybody's saying ICE was too kind to the woman that they shot in the face who was no threat to her whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they also say, I wonder if Mark Maron or the good folks at Dropout feel any reservations about performing in the same festival as this racist. Here's more of him. Let's see. So here he is. I guess now he's going to go after Somalis. Oh, how brave. How bold. How brave. Did you know the Somalis committed fraud, bro? Did you know that? Oh, what's that? The president who I support has committed infinitely more fraud and pardoned more white-collar fraudsters who committed way more fraud as a dollar amount, objectively speaking. What's that? Watch me not say anything about Trump's fraud and the fraud of the people he pardoned, because he got paid to pardon them, by the way, because he's a corrupt asshole who takes bribes. But watch me beat up on black immigrants because I'm so bold and I'm so brave going after those powerful black immigrants. Here we go.
All right.
Wouldn't want to be Somalian right now. That's right. It's all the Democrats in the States are like, oh, it's just horrific watching my Somali neighbors being ripped from their homes. I'm like, if you have Somali neighbors, you live in a bad area.
There's no joke. It's just the joke is just racism. That's it. Like, racism. Like, I get it. Half this country is filled with low IQ dipshits who, you know, blame black people and gay people and trans people and Muslims and stuff for their problems.
Disgusting.
But can we stop pretending? Like, there's a reason why conservative comedy is like its own thing, because it's not really comedy. Like I said, it's just like, it's shock value. It's just, I'm being offensive to be offensive. Like, there's a reason why there was the, you know, the idea for a long time was conservatives literally can't be funny, because they're always going after the powerless. They're not going after the powerful. None of the ideas are original. None of the thoughts are original. It all stems from the same thing, hatred of the other, right? So conservative comedy, yes, we need to get back to a place where conservative comedy has its place, right? Like, it's just, yeah, that's where you go if you're a dipshit and you have a low IQ and you want to be, you know, you want racism to be the point, right? And so to have somebody like this now permeate mainstream culture, whose fault is that? I'll wait. Y'all know whose fault it is. It's in the title of this motherfucking video. This is what Joe Rogan has unleashed. And I actually think, if I'm being honest, I actually think Rogan would look at this and he would shudder at the thought. Because, like, he plays footsie with conservatism, right? Like, he endorsed Trump, he supports Trump, but he always, whenever it gets a little too hot in that kitchen, he always runs out and goes, who, me, bro? I'm an independent. I'm like a centrist, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I'm like, you know, I'm politically homeless and stuff, bro. That's what Rogan does when it gets a little too hot in that kitchen. But, like, here you go. This is what, you know, these are the people who...
We've seen him do it.
Who watch Rogan, love Rogan, saw the door open up for the Tony Hinchcliffe type comedians, and this is the result. This is the result. Good to know that in the rising age of fascism and kakistocracy in this country, we have fascist kakistocracy so-called comedians who are, you know, preaching to the choir of the low IQ idiots. Here we go.
But I feel bad for the Somalians because, you know, they're being called garbage and they're trying to defend themselves online and they don't have anything to work with. Yeah, that's our own country. Piles of roll. You guys okay over here? Was that guy offended? Nice.
Is that guy offended? Nice. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? The goal is not actually comedy. The goal is to be offensive. The goal is to shock value. The goal is to get you to go, and then they want to monetize the backlash. That's the idea. As if like their lives are actually being ruined. No, it's just people saying you're an idiot because you're an idiot. It's people saying your ideology is stupid because it's stupid. It's people saying your perception of the world is grossly wrong because it is, right? Instead of going after the people who are hoarding all the fucking money and making the rest of us live in hell, you don't. Instead of going after the warmongers, you don't. You know, this is the issue. The issue is you have an incorrect perception of the world, and your comedy is all informed by that, which is why it's not even really comedy. So anyway, great to know that we now have a fat 27-year-old short comedian that's basically Sean Hannity reincarnated or Bill O'Reilly reincarnated. You know, awesome. Bodes really well for the future. That this guy's headlining a comedy festival.
This is true. All right, here we got something. He's on Fox News. The fuck?
The United States Senate, because that's what Article 1 is.
The United States Senate is an undemocratic institution. It gives more representation to people in smaller states than to the 30 million people in California.
So you've got the House of Representatives, which is population driven, and then you've got the Senate. So every state, if you're a small state, you still get 2 senators, even though you only get maybe 1 congressman, in order to make all of the states have fair representation. So you say, I'm just confused.
When you ask normal Americans if Congress and the Senate and our political system is working for them, most people are very unhappy with the political system and they say it's not working for them. When we think about the 250th anniversary of the United States and we think about our proudest moments in US history, I think of times like when ordinary people rose up and they changed the Constitution to abolish slavery, to give women the right to vote.
Everyone's proud of that.
And
that's a nationwide pride in the country.
But back in those moments, those were considered radical movements because those people dared to say we need transformative change in the United States.
Right.
And I
well,
think
we
that
struggle to become a more perfect union. But I just want to ask you again, do you want to abolish the United States Senate? Because you said you approve of Article 1. But then you said you didn't think the Senate works.
We think that the Senate should be reformed, that we should have a more democratic government system. But that's a long-term change that we're seeking. And in the short term, we're focused on issues like affordability, like freezing the rent, which we've just done.
Yeah, like you're going to say something against that?
Is that creating a universal childcare system,
affordability,
which we're also taking steps toward doing, like fixing our energy grid.
Yeah. Cut him off, huh? Wow, they gave him like 1 minute. You know why? Because everything after that he said was based. Right? Yeah, believe me. Crazy times, folks. Crazy times. I really don't think I want to do that. Better off boosting it here. Right? Boost it. 7. Give it a 7. Give it a 7 boost. That's strong. All right. We're going to play a game. What's it going to be, folks? No one seems to care in chat. I know. No, we can play something that no one else can play. Updates. New content. Up to date. Now I need a jacket. Okay, I'm back. I had to do some shit. That's right. Oh, I gotta fucking log in. That's right. Dobe. Bromitis. Hello? I won't remember my password for some reason. And luckily it doesn't. Oops. We're back. We're in. We're in, boys and girls. Doesn't really matter. Three-second delay. Love it. All right. What are we doing? Journal? Grand Fable. Wield a Ruin. Okay. This is dumb because I don't know how to do this. Game is so weird because there's nothing about it. But it is fucking beautiful. I wonder. There's a whole bunch of fucking land here. What am I doing here? A letter awaits me. Could go here. Yeah. G? Hmm? Where are you, sweetheart? Thank you. Gold arrow. I mean, game's supposed to be multiplayer too. I don't understand. I never see anyone. I'm confused. Is it multiplayer? What? Oh yeah. Well, there's a spot where there was a bunch of people. I remember now. What are you doing? There's weapons. Right. Looks back and look. When she walks, flowers grow. What the fuck? What? The same people that developed Soulform, or what is it? Other game. Can't remember now. Fight him. What is over there? G. Huh? You can just get lost here. I don't want to go over there anyway. Oh, okay. The boss, probably. Did he set off a fucking alarm? Fucking bitch. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Huh? Why'd you come in? this? He called down troops? Oh, I didn't know this could happen. Switch. Oh, I killed him. Die, bitches. Oops, die, bitches. You guys are strong. Fuck. Who's healing him? Fuck you, bitch. Did I use a ruin? No, I didn't. Like this. What the fuck? Who thunk of this? Who thunk this? Where am I? Where's my body? What happened? Fucked up, dude. Fine. Oh, Ripper Pearl. We'll take them. Excuse me. Right. Oh, why it's not? Why it's so loud? Not loud enough. What the fuck? Okay, chat. That's better. Maybe that's better. Oh, so loud. There we go. I got it now. I think. Gotta have the levels. H, G, R. H. H. R, weapon, X. X is heal. God damn it. X. It's X. And this is supposed to be a ruin. I don't know though. Alright, let's just follow our buddy. Where? We go this way? Okay. Yeah, we gotta... Huh? Where are we going? Okay, now you're confusing me. Where are we going? Alright, we need to finish our fucking thing. Wailed a ruin. Spoils. Alright, we got a night old. Time to nightfold. Still can't use the bookshelf.
Envoy, welcome back.
Okay. Okay, so he inscribes my sages. And then...
Oro, damn this old and corruption.
Where is it?
All under olden rule now.
Grades available. What I need to do is not related to something in. I need to upgrade my tent. Don't think I like this. This isn't right yet. Something's not right here. I got a 6, 9, and a 6. I got the good armor on. Physical 6, magic 6. This is the one I want. Combat arts. Oh, here we go. This is what you gotta upgrade your heart. And this, I don't understand this. Bond 12. WAP upgrade. Oh, here we go. This is an upgrade. Okay, wingspan. When you fall, your spiral soul has more time to return to your body. Stand tall. Take spirit. I have one more. Take it. Oh, I have 4. Wait, I can max it out? Oh, I can double tap. I can double tap the. I can triple tap these. I see. I see. tendril. Oh, I need to make that bigger. Actually, here, do this. I got an idea. Rooted. This is cool. Okay, let's try that. I don't know what this does, but it's cool. Alright. Back to up. Back to this. Well, upgrade. Elder Bloom, Fountain Flock. I have none of these. Except that. Okay. Well, I can't swap yet. That's something you do later. Weapon. Sidearm. Oh. Here's ruins. Oh my god, that is crazy. Okay, gotta pay attention to these little dots on the side. That's crazy. They should be glowing or something. Blinking. It's like a game. Trying to find the secrets. Unleash ruin by holding Q and pressing the middle boss button. Okay. Deal arcane damage. What is this? 1. What is this? 0. Upgrade. Okay. Click here. 1 field feeds many. These are totems. These are not. These are ruins. Okay. I'm using a ruin. Load these up. Okay. I don't know. All I can do. What is this? Oh, here we go. Well, this one. But you can't put a ruin on that. Can I switch them? No, because that's only for the bow. I thought I had ruins. Okay, let's see. Chat? I don't know. Oh, okay. Holy shit. Oh. Okay. What am I using? The bow? Okay. Brittle arrow. Hilted blade. Rife mocked. Do this. Do this. Okay. I'm getting this a little bit. Bow's level 5. This is level 1. The shield I don't use yet. Don't have one. Okay, what does that mean? Roll back in. What am I doing? Morning.
You're here for prisoners, Drac.
Right. Got a helmet on. Ooh. Hey, I see you. Jesus. I gotta get there. The mini game. You're gonna die, bitch. As I reload. Problem is R is switch weapon. I keep reloading my bow. You don't need to reload the bow in this game. So I'm so used to hitting reload. What I want to do is pull it down. Right here. That's right, bitch. I owned you. Wish there was other people in this game, though. I don't understand what's happening. It's beautiful. That. They put like a universe in there. Okay. Just wandering. Trying to use a rune in battle 3 times, but I can't seem to figure out how to do it. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much. Look, I have all these ruins. Wait. Those are totems. These are fragments. I have these ruins. How come I can't load this? They're all 2s. Oh, what's this? For the sword. Load up on the sword then. Do I have a sword? Maybe that's what I need to do. Holding. The grin? The vetch. Wolder. Try the Wolder. Why do I dismantle these? Blessing? is all this for? I have this other pack. How come I can't use it? So confused. No. Okay. I have to go in here to change my weapon. Weird. And then they're not here. Try this. Oh. What? Can I load anything? Nope. Okay. What about this? No ruins on that. Okay. Vetch. 48. Ooh. Seven. 49. 84. 50. $126, $120 for charged attack. $164 for charged attack on this. Level 12 Juniper. Yeah, it goes up. That's cool. I like that. Walder. Let's try this. D2. Yeah. Okay, what can we load on this? There we go. Okay. Deal 100 flame damage. Do that. Do that. Do that. Do that. And that. Bonus is applied. Okay, then sidearm. Oh, we get a shield. No, we don't. Wait. Shield now? Nope. Is it the shield? Okay, we're gonna use this. Good shield, bitch. And nothing. Got these. Yes, maybe. Okay. I think I get it now. Cabin. Ooh, dick. What is this? Two. Oh my god, dude. Couldn't hit him. Oh baby. We're right here. We're gonna run. Bitches. We're gonna run like a bitch. Goodbye. Good night. My fucking sword out at least. Jesus. What? 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 Oh, he's coming. This bitch still coming for me. Okay, we gotta have it out now. What? He's insane, dude. Holy shit. Do it. I made it. Fuck you. Get out of here, dude. Game punishes you, but doesn't punish you. You know what I mean? You know where the punishment is? Not figuring out how to use a ruin. Okay, it says use Q. 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 Doesn't use a ruin. Well, a ruin. Look. I haven't done it yet. Look. What it tells me to do. You. I gotta change it. Right idea. Huh? What am I trying to do? Middle mouse button 3. Mouse button 3. Block, mouse button 2. Kick is E. Spectral sight is Q. Weapon ruin not bound. Oh my god. Oh my god, kiss my ass. Should we make it? Why? Why? Wait. Where's middle mouse button? Try that. That's mouse button 3. Melee, throw, recall. Okay, wait. Oh shit. Default. Oh, I see. Weapon ruin still not bound. Okay. Melee throw is going to be I. That's I. Reverse camera is V. Huh? Heals H. Oh. This game, dude. No. Cannot not be bound. Melee throw. Recall. I said I want that to be O. Fine. We're good. Fuck. Oh. Actually, that should be this. Damn it. Where was it? So it's gonna be oh, it'll be this. Go. Why didn't I think of that? Perfect. Oh, just like, oh, fuck you, bitch. Or hold it. Yeah. Okay, that's good. And then this is defense. And this is. Different. Okay. Understored. Alright, and then. Oh! You see the roll? Like it. Alright. Roll right and left. I did a spin roll. That was sick. Look at that. I rolled down the hill. All right. R. Out the shield. Field. R. 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 Field. Fight, fight, fight. Fight. Field. R. Field. Not bad. Level this up. Too bad you can't. Oh, you can carry that bow in this. That'd be sick, actually. Probably load my bow back up. I want to see what using the ruin looks like. Okay. I'm using a ruin. Using a ruin. Still haven't used a ruin. Wield a unit. I just like doing that. Hello. I'm just wandering around over here where there's no map. Of course. What's up with my mic? Come on, dude. Stop it. Stop it. Alright, there's a mount in this, and I don't know where it is. I head in this direction. Period. I don't know how you get a mount, though. I need to train an animal. Sparrow is not very good at flying. Prefer if they could. Two? I'm out of here. Hello? Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. I'm gonna go through the crack. Oh, good crack. He said crack. Oh, crack. None of this worked. This game sucks. I'm kidding, chat. Oh. Oh, she's strong there. It's the sunset, huh? You and me, babe. Just you and me, babe. Oh, damn. What the fuck is that? I gotta look it up. I'm so mad. Oh, duck. Well, it's a bad game. Just head. All right. I have to pull smite? Okay.
Hello envoys, this is a quick guide for using runes. The little circle to the left of your weapon is your rune.
Okay. Thank you. Fuck.
Hello envoys, this is a quick guide for using runes. The little circle to the left of your weapon is your rune slot. If you are trying to complete the quest for using your rune 3 times, you may need to change your weapon type to use a rune you already have. I'm not going to cover totems in this video, so you'll see me just throw a couple in here. Once equipped, to charge your rune, you will need to pull Smite. You can do this by using Spectral Sight and your attack button. You will know your rune is charged when the bar under your second ability has filled. Once your rune has charged, use Spectral Sight and middle mouse button on the keyboard or right trigger on controller. Now you know how to charge your rune and use it.
Thank you. So dumb. Okay. We're going to switch to this. And full smite. What? It doesn't work. Charged? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, now what? I'll hold it. And what? Hold it. H. Oh, I got blasted, dude. H. Did I do it? Ooh. Use it! Why? Didn't work. H. No! Oh no. Oh. Oh, motherfucker. What do I do, chat? Okay, let's go. Nope, didn't make it. Fine, I don't want to fight him anyway. Run. I want to mount. How do you get a mount? Yeah, arrows. Haven't seen those guys yet. Ouch. H. I have a rune on my sword, don't I? Really shouldn't be over here. Probably shouldn't be here. You even go that far? H. I'm out of heal. No! I don't want to die. Leave. I'm at one shot. Out two. Back where I started. Huh? Still isn't working. All right, chat, I gotta go. Bye.